Heyoos! Clipper here, and welcome back to another study session. Our setup is a little bit different today. That's because my phone finally decided that enough was enough and it was time to say goodbye. Likewise, I think it's finally time for us to say goodbye to the Statue of the Seven and actually start interacting with the world around here. Looks like we've got 생선 살코기. 생선 refers to fish, specifically the kind that you would eat, and then 살코기 you don't need to worry about. I would just remember 고기, which is meat. Another word for fish that you might encounter is 물고기, which actually refers to the living animal, which is a little bit counterintuitive, but hey, is what it is. Also, why is my game so smooth? Like, where's the lag? This is freaking me out.
저건 뭐지? 거대한 게 하늘을 날고 있어. 숲 깊숙한 곳으로 갔어. 조심해서 나아가자.
Hey, starting to get interesting. Let's go. So you've probably figured out through context alone that 뭐 is what? So Paimon going, 와, 저건 뭐지? Is just, whoa, what is that? Then we've got 거대한 게 하늘을 날고 있어. Today I'm just gonna focus on 하늘, which is sky. So this whole thing is, there's a huge thing flying through the sky. Next, let's start with 숲 깊숙한 곳으로 갔어. So for 깊숙하다, I'm just gonna worry about 깊다 today, which is just to be deep. In English, we would probably phrase this a little closer to it went deep into the woods. And then we end off this segment with 조심해서 나아가자. So 조심하다 is like to be cautious or to be careful, which I definitely grew up with. And then 나아가다 is like to go forward or to advance. So I'm reading this as let's proceed with caution. Hey, 민들레 씨앗. So that must be dandelion seed. That's fun to say, 민들레. Huh, 민트. I guess they didn't have mint back in the day in Korea. Let's see, 도마뱀꼬리, it's gotta be lizard tail.
저길 봐, 저건.
겁낼 것 없어. 안심해. 내가 돌아왔어.
드래곤과 대화하고 있어.
누구야?
Hey, it's starting to get good. Oh, I'm getting hyped. Again, you've probably already figured out that, 저기 봐, 저건 is just, look over there. It's this iconic scene. And then we finally get to hear Korean Venti for the first time. I'm actually not too worried about these lines right this second, so real quick, he goes, 겁낼 건 없어. There's nothing to be afraid of. 안심해, 내가 돌아왔어. Easy now, I've returned. Then we've got Paimon going, 드래곤과 대화하고 있어. So 대화하다 is kind of like to converse. In English we would probably just say, he's talking to the dragon. Technically the Korean word for dragon is 용, but Genshin typically uses 용 to refer to more Eastern dragons, whereas for Western dragons they'll use the English loanword. Kinda cool. Then we piss off the dragon and Venti goes, 누구야? Which I don't think you need me to explain this time.
날아갈 뻔했네. 너의 머리카락을 잡고 있어서 다행이야. 고마워.
다행히 머리카락이 빠지진 않았네. 다행히 드래곤이 우리를 공격하지 않았어.
아까 무슨 일이 발생한 거야? 먹혀버리는 줄 알았어. 분명 드래곤이랑 대화하던 사람이랑 연관이 있을 거야.
이 세계에 드래곤이 존재하다니.
네가 뭘 걱정하는지 알고 있어. 저건 뭐야? 저 바위 위에서 빛나고 있는 붉은 빛. 가까이 가보자. 조심해, 불길한 느낌이 들어.
Alright, let's go through this together. First, we've got Paimon going, 날아갈 뻔했네. We almost flew away. Since Korean is so contextual, I thought we were talking about the dragon at first, so I was like, what do you mean almost? Then Paimon goes, 너의 머리카락을 잡고 있어서 다행이야. 고마워. 머리카락 is explicitly hair, but sometimes you'll see 머리, which can either refer to your hair or your head. And then 다행이다 is kind of like, it's a good thing, or thank goodness. So altogether, Paimon's kind of going, it's a good thing I was grabbing onto your hair. Thank you. 천만에 배운 천만에. And then we've got a couple more traveler dialogue options, starting with 다행히 머리카락이 빠지진 않았네. 빠지다 is like to fall out, so this top option is kind of like, thank goodness my hair didn't fall out. But today I chose the second option, 다행히 드래곤이 우리를 공격하지 않았어, which is, thank goodness the dragon didn't attack us. Next up, I'm gonna start with 아까 무슨 일이 발생한 거야? 무슨 is like what or what kind, and then this phrase 무슨 일 actually functions as what's going on. I know earlier I introduced 일 as day, but it's got so many more meanings than that, and specifically in this context, it's closer to something like matter, occasion, problem, things like that. And then 발생하다 is kind of like to occur, so I'm thinking of this first bit as like, what just happened, or what was that just now? And then we've got 먹혀버리는 줄 알았어. Starting up front here, 먹히다 is to be eaten, though you'll usually just see 먹다, which is to eat. And then 버리다, you'll see tacked on the ends of things sometimes, and from what I understand, it's used to denote that an action is over, and typically has a very sad connotation. Usually when I hear this, it's when people lose things and they'll go, 잃어버렸어. And then this phrase here, 는 줄 알았어, is used when you thought something, but are now realizing that you were wrong. You can also communicate the reverse by using 는 줄 몰랐어 to say that you didn't realize something until just now. So this phrase here is just simply, I thought we were gonna get eaten. Then we've got 분명 드래곤이랑 대화하던 사람이랑 연결이 있을 거야. First off, 분명 is like clearly, and then these 이랑s we see here both mean and, though they can also be used to mean with. So Paimon's kinda going, clearly the dragon and the person who was talking to have a connection. Then we've got some traveler dialogue options, starting with 이 세계에 드래곤이 존재하다니. So 존재하다 is kind of like to exist, and I think earlier I described 있다 as to exist as well, but 있다 is more like to be in a place, so I'm sorry for any confusion there. And then this 다니 ending here is used to repeat what someone said and then tack on your own emotional response to it. Sometimes we would see a second clause after this to clarify what that emotion is, but as we can see here, it's just as acceptable to drop it off and let that reaction be implied. I'm thinking maybe the traveler might be a little bit surprised. So this first line in a nutshell would be something like, so dragons exist in this world. Or you could go with the fun option and be like, 드래곤과 대화하는 게 정상이야? Is it normal to talk to dragons? Responding to the first line, Paimon goes, 응, 네가 뭘 걱정하는지 알고 있어. So 걱정하다 is like to worry. We're gonna be encountering this one a lot. And then I know that 알고 있어 looks like I am knowing, but much like 알았어 and 알겠어, it shouldn't be taken literally. Just think of it as I know or I understand. So here Paimon's gonna go in, I understand what you're worried about. And then 응? 저건 뭐야? I'll leave that one to you. And then 저 바위 위에서 빛나고 있는 붉은 빛. Starting with 저 바위 위에서, 바위 is like a rock. It's also what they use for the word geo, so I figured I'd include it in here. And then 위 is above. So 저 바위 위에서, above that rock. Moving on to 빛나고 있는 붉은 빛. 빛나다 is to shine, and 빛 on its own is just light. So altogether, this is kind of like, there's a red light shining above that rock. I remember being confused by colors back in the day, but I don't remember why, so I'll get back to you once I figure that out. Now for 가까이 가보자. 가깝다 is like to be close, so I'm thinking, let's go take a closer look. And then we've got 조심해, 불길한 느낌이 들어. You may remember 느끼다 being to feel. Here, 느낌 is actually a feeling. And then 들다 is hella versatile, so I'm just gonna focus on this phrase here, 느낌이 들어, which is just to have a feeling. So here Paimon's kinda going, be careful, I have an ominous feeling. Alright, 붉은색 결정, red crystal, don't worry about it too much.
이런 돌은 처음 봐. 뭐라고 정의하기 어려워. 하지만 위험한 건 확실해. 우선 보관해둬. 회수 완료! 얼른 여기를 떠나자.
Alrighty, let's start with 이런 돌은 처음 봐. 이런 is like this, so 이런 돌, stone like this. And then 처음 is first or first time, so I'm thinking of this as, this is the first time I've seen a stone like this. Then Paimon goes, 뭐라고 정의하기 어려워. 어렵다 is to be difficult, so I'm thinking of this part as, it's hard to tell what it is. Then we've got, 하지만 위험한 건 확실해. 위험하다 is to be dangerous, so Paimon's going, but I'm sure it's dangerous. Then for 우선 보관해둬, 우선 is kind of like first off or for now, so I'm thinking of this as, let's put it in storage for now. And then we've got 했어 완료, collection complete. 얼른 여기를 떠나자. 얼른 is like promptly or immediately, so Paimon's kind of going, let's leave this place immediately. Let's get the hell out of here, go, go, go! And that's also where I'm going to be leaving the episode today. After hanging around the statue for so long, it felt like we really did a lot today. It's kind of refreshing, not gonna lie. I'm starting to get stoked about the story again. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Some of my favorite resources are in the description, as per usual, and as always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you across the ecliptic. Bye bye!